What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Okay, today I'm very excited. I have my 2023 What is in the Bag. Now, off-season 3 has been very interesting in terms of the developments in my swing and my body and especially my gear. And I would say gear played a pretty significant role this year versus maybe previous off-seasons in kind of meshing everything together and making it all work. And I'm really pumped to show you where we're at. Now, first, if you haven't seen my What's in the Bag for my irons and driver that I did at the beginning of this off-season, please check those out. I have the videos in the link below to kind of give some context as to how we got to here. So with that, I'm excited to take you through my 2023 What's in the Bag. All right, so first thing we're gonna start off with is irons. Now, in my first What's in the Bag video for off-season 3, I talked about that I play the T100Ss and love them. I have the Vokey wedges, love them. One of the things I saw in my swing was just my lie angle with these clubs. And particularly its setup, I always found that I was just very toe up and it felt like at impact I was toe up and I was fighting a bit of a left miss. So I just wanted to get that diagnosed. So went over to see Rich at Genuine and we tested it out by just bending my 6-iron 4 degrees flat from standard, right? And so Titleist is actually 1 degree more upright than majority of manufacturers. I had it bent 2 degrees flat already. So I went another 2 degrees flat to just take it down that extra level. And so here's some clips of me at the studio working on that and kind of figuring that out.
Just snapping clubs. What you do is you get it in this machine and then you just reef on it.
You just reef on it.
And then you get a hernia. And that hernia is normally like 0.5 of a degree. Ah. We're getting close, we're sneaking up on it. All right. That one was right there.
Yeah, I felt that.
Oh, that sounded amazing.
Yeah, that's the shape.
And we might see with a shaft that's a little stiffer that it doesn't bow down so much. Right?
Which I think is what the other piece.
So that.
Now 4 degrees flat actually yielded a pretty significant difference. Immediately I felt like I was getting way more center strikes, and actually particularly even with shorter irons and wedges, it just felt so much easier to make center contact and not have so much of that left miss. So once we kind of addressed the lie angle, the next thing I wanted to try was to see if I could get a stiffer golf shaft, but maintain the same weight. I don't like super heavy golf clubs. I just don't like the feel. And came across the LA Golf iron shafts thanks to speaking with Drew Cooper. And he's a guy who has a ton of speed. I'm not as fast as him, but I swing pretty fast, especially with my irons. And so I was looking for something that would just be a lot more stable. I was just finding with the nip-ons at impact, as I got stronger throughout the off-season, even with the lie angle change, it just felt like I was still getting a lot of shaft deflection. I was fighting the shaft a bit and overpowering it at times. So the next test was to throw it in the LA Golf 120 X shafts. So these are the extra stiff. And that was an experiment I was really excited for. However, we almost got the T100Ss completely out of the bag while Rich was putting the test shaft in my 6-iron because he had me try the Ping I230s. And wow, those irons are sweet. Take a look at this clip. This is of me hitting the I230s for the very first time. This is a 4-iron. Like a dude, that was a miss hit. Oh no. Oh. Oh no. Oh no.
240 yards.
And dude, look at that. 228.
Oh,
with Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gracious. Should we just put it in this one? All right, that one was sloppy legs, but so far.
If that was
There you go.
sloppy, that's crazy. 'Cause it's
Okay, so let's see if we can hit the high draw, like stupid far one. Oh yes.
Oh,
Wow. I don't know, man. You might have screwed me.
I didn't do it in.
I think you might have done something. Oh my goodness. What the oh, I didn't need this. I really didn't need this.
There is a cat officially amongst the pigeons.
So the i230s almost beat the T100s completely out of the bag. I actually brought a couple of those demos from Rich's shop out onto the course just to test. And though I hit them so good in the bay, they're just too big. Like the iron is so big. If it was about half the size, it would be absolutely perfect. But sitting behind the ball, the iron itself just looks so big. The sole is so big. I just couldn't wrap my head around playing that. And especially in the longer irons, off grass, I don't know, my brain, I just couldn't make it all make sense, which is unfortunate because they're really, really good. But anyway, unfortunately, didn't make the cut. With that being said, it was finally time to try the 6-iron. And as you guys will see from these upcoming clips, it was an immediate difference right away as to what it was able to do for me.
Yes, your previous set was D3.
Yeah.
You like light.
I do.
And if we just go in raw, right now it's going to come out at D0.5. By the time we finish up, it'll be D0.5. That will change the flex a little bit because obviously, you know, it's lighter. But let's give that a whirl, and if we need to move it to D3, we can. But let's try light.
Like that is left
It's this
on my
stiff, light, but stable, right?
that is left on my Modus.
Yeah. Bring a center strike.
Right. And I'm not even like really trying to go after it. Yeah, feels way easier for me to not go left. That is so interesting.
Let's test the light. What's it say?
Here, let me just see if I can, let me throw one into oblivion here. Interesting. I would have to try really hard for that to not go left on a normal setup. Wow. That'll take some adjusting, but the fact that I'll miss there all day.
Yeah, that's not what
You know? That was 100% a left miss with the other irons.
pretty damn tight, isn't it?
That feels,
Your face to target was 0.0.
Yeah.
And your club path was 0.6.
my path is actually tightened up a little bit.
Yeah.
Spin's not bad.
Yeah.
I was afraid it might drop too much. And I was afraid it might make me too,
I'm old school, so I'm thinking graphite's going to make it spin like crazy, but that thing is very stable.
oh dude, these are incredible. That is an incredible feel. It changed, I would say this changes the feel of my iron set entirely.
Yeah.
Like this, let's see if I just like really try and like hammer one. the face won't go left on me, which is amazing. I just have that. And that was not a good strike. Wow. I hit that super low. And it didn't.
Face is still decent.
Yeah. Let's see if I turn one over. Let's see if I try and hit a draw now. There we go. Well, that's why I don't hit draws, because I could never get that.
Yeah.
I could never get that flight
It would cut over too much.
to turn, like,
I gotta move the pin.
like that's a miss.
You just probably came out of it a little early.
Yeah. That's a 200-yard miss. I just didn't push with the legs as good as I could have. And it's still on my target line. Nice and high. Again, that's fat. Like these aren't my, like that's more of a stock swing. And then if I do like a,
Center that was.
yeah.
0.7 half, 0.4 open a target, great.
If I hoist one. Wow. That changes things. So as you can see from those clips, it was immediate. The feel, the reaction to my body, how I was able to deliver the club, just felt so natural. The weight, everything just felt perfect. And I was excited and sad simultaneously because unfortunately those shafts are very expensive. So I knew I had a big bill to now pay for, because it almost felt like it was doing a disservice to my game to not make this change. That's how significant it felt compared to what I was playing. I just felt like I was overpowering the Nippons. I was losing shots left. I was getting a ton of shaft deflection, and it became hard to tell whether sometimes I was making mistakes because of how I was swinging or if it was the club. And that was a very confusing thing to have to deal with. As soon as I put the LA golf shaft in, it felt like I could very much tell when it was a bad swing, and I knew it was more based off of me delivering things, and the club wasn't getting in my way. Like I said, not a fan of the bill, but at least I didn't have to buy the i230s with it, so you know, we netted out a little farther ahead. So that's what I did. I put LA Golf X-Stiff shafts in all of my irons. I have them all the way from 4-iron to 60-degree wedge. I would say they're really great in the irons, and that makes a big difference. But chipping and wedge shots, incredible, incredible. You know, I wasn't sure feel-wise what it would be like. I was actually probably the most nervous for wedges, and I was totally blown away with how good they feel with the wedges. The weight, the flex, everything. It just, there's something about how they just feel. Again, it's like once I put these in with the right lie angle, so you know everything is 4 degrees flat with these LA golf shafts, it seemed like the clubs finally got out of the way and I could swing, and it never felt like it was the club's fault or I was fighting the clubs or trying to compensate things in my body to make the clubs work. The clubs just do their thing. It's now on me to get my body right, get my technique right to make it happen. Another reason why that happened too is because, you know, obviously I'm very lucky to have someone like Rich build my clubs. Having no questions about the quality of the build is just super helpful, especially when dealing with super expensive shafts like this. And obviously, you know, making sure the swing weights all work. Like Rich is meticulous with that. We had to do some special stuff with some of the tip weighting to make it all make sense. So, you know, just having him be able to not only help me find the shafts and get it all done, but then also do the build to make sure I'm getting the most out of these. That's super important because obviously, you know, if you're gonna spend this kind of money, you wanna get your bang for your buck. So shout out to Rich at Genuine. I can't say enough good things about him, and he's just the best. All right, next on the docket we have is driver. Now, once I discovered that 4 degrees flat was where I lived with the irons, which is technically 3 degrees flat for most manufacturers, I kind of realized I need to emulate that in probably my woods, right? It's the same kind of feel, same kind of setup. And it started to make more sense to me why, when I was playing the Stealth, I was fighting a bit with a left miss, because when I look at videos, yeah, I've got a ton of toe up on that driver. So it just wasn't working for me. So the immediate choice, the only 2 manufacturers I'm aware of that have a 3 degree flat adapter sleeve on their driver is Ping and PXG. I've heard nothing but incredible things about this driver from the minute it was announced. And it just seemed like anybody who had seen it, hit it, looked at it, said it was special. So thankfully, we got a demo here, and the first thing I did was take it to hole 4 at Cultus Lake here, which is basically just this tree line par 4. And I know I can hit anything in a bay. I can make the compensations. I can do whatever I need to make a driver work. My number 1 test is, can I hit it on that hole? It is the tightest golfing hole I have to deal with. And I pulled this and just absolutely smoked a couple fades down the middle, and immediately went back into the pro shop and bought it. Rich re-tipped my Ventus, and we put the Ventus Black 6X back into this. That was a bit of an adjustment because obviously the Stealth is much lighter, which is why I liked it, but I wanted the stability and stuff with this, and I like how the Ventus plays. So it took a bit of getting stronger in the gym and working on my body to make this shaft work, but that was really good. Another key thing to note is this is a 10.5 degree head, which is more loft than I've played previously with any of my other drivers. I played a 9 degree driver, turned down. The last time I played a 10.5 degree driver was when I had the Sim Max a couple years ago. So I have this, a 10.5 on the fade setting with the weight in the toe, and it is absolutely perfect. Now, with how good the driver was, it seemed like I needed to try the hybrid and the 3-wood because, again, from anybody that had tried those, it just seemed like they were extremely special. There was some new magic that they had put in over at Ping into the new woods. So I just shotgun ordered the 3 hybrid and the 3-wood. Another thing with the 3-wood, and the reason why I actually was probably most looking forward to trying a new 3-wood was particularly because I found that the 425 3-wood, which is what I had, it was half a degree less loft than what they were currently offering. And also, it just launched very low. Like, it took a lot to get that 3-wood in the air. Now, it was great, it went super far. I could get it in the air if I needed to, but I just really was looking for something that I could just hoist in the air, stupid high. You know, one thing I've been working on with my coach and his philosophy on 3-woods too is I want the 3-wood to come in super high with a lot of spin and just land. I'm not looking for a 3-wood to be piercing in any capacity. So I have the G430 Max 3-wood, 15 degrees. I have it on the flat setting with a Ventus Black 7X, and this club has just been incredible. It's probably one of the biggest surprise clubs from any of the new additions I've made. You know, I've liked having a 3-wood. I've never felt like a 3-wood was a weapon for me or something I could really count on. And this has emerged as something that is just an incredible club for me. If you haven't seen the video I dropped yesterday, I've linked it below. Mini course log, I've got 2 3-woods I hit in there. I'll show them here too. Just, it's awesome. And why don't I have the LST? Why did I go for the Max? The reason I don't go for the LST is I don't want less spin with a 3-wood. I found that the LST and the Max go the same, and why not take a little more forgiveness? Because the reason I'm gonna hit this is either a second shot into a par 5 or a safety shot off the tee or whatever. And yeah, this is just great. Now the hybrid. This is probably the club I didn't need to change. I hit the G425 hybrid extremely well. It was amazing for me. Probably one of the safest clubs off the tee. Just an absolute weapon. Like, was perfect for me. Never had to worry about it, never had to care. The reason why I decided to just go with it is because I wanted to experiment. The acoustics of the new stuff is really, really good. And they had made some adjustments to the sole. And actually, I should have talked about this with the 3-wood too, but I was kind of nervous that, you know, with how flat the previous model sat, you know, they'd made some adjustments to the sole. And I was kind of worried that they were going to lose some of that, because that's what I loved. I love how flat to the ground and almost how much surface area both the hybrid and the 3-wood had in the previous models. Now they made a slight adjustment, but I still get that same feeling when I sit it on the ground. It looks great. It looks like I'm going to just hit it clean. And again, I have it on the flat setting with the Ventus Black 9TX. Just, it's perfect. The acoustics are better. It's a little bit firmer feeling than the 425. I would say dispersion is probably similar, maybe a touch less wild. I definitely can't rope hook this one the same as I could the 425. The 425, if I needed to rope hook it on a par 4 or something to just get it out there, it was really good at that. I'm still kind of working on that shot with this. But with that being said, this off the tee is just super straight. And if I need to just punch it out there 250 yards, easy breezy. And the last club in my bag, which ironically doesn't have a graphite shaft, is my putter. Is the Huntington Beach 3. If you haven't seen my Quintic video I did with Rich to dial in my putting stroke, please check that out. I've linked that below. This club is my new favorite putter I've ever had. I've never made more putts with any other putter than I have with this. I've changed the grip on it to a Super Stroke Pistol Tour GT. Again, I've debated putting the LA Golf putter shaft into this, but I'm putting so well with it that I'm afraid to touch it. Like it just works. So I may buy another one and build it out and test it, or just leave this as is. But for some reason, it just is perfect and it's working. And so I don't want to mess with it. And the last thing is the ball. Now I've changed balls 3 times this offseason. I started with the Titleist Pro V1 X Left Dash. Phenomenal ball. Love that. My only issue with that really was availability and keeping it in stock. I would go to order it a couple times and it would be completely out of stock. Another ball I went back to was the Bridgestone BXS. That was always been a good ball for me. I've liked the extra spin. I tend to take some spin off the ball, so it was fine. And again, played well with that, but just felt like I would get them a little, I don't know, from playing the Pro V1X Left Dash, I just really like the firm golf ball, especially with chipping. And I found that my distance control with chipping was just not as great with the BXS. And then I just kind of had a thought a couple weeks ago, actually, to give the TP5X a try again. I've got 2 hole-in-ones with the 5X. I've always putted well with the 5X, and it kind of has that firm feel that works with me when chipping. So for distance control, things like that. And I still spin this a decent amount with wedges. Like, I never really feel like I can't get this to stop. And I don't have to worry about it being sold out. My 2 hole-in-ones ever are both with a TP5X. So I'm just gonna kind of roll with those good vibes because, it just works. So that's the ball I'm playing for now. And it kind of works perfectly with the set. I'm not seeing any issues either playing a lower spin ball, which is great. I was worried about that with the LA Golf shafts. I just was concerned that because I already take some spin off the ball, now, you know, the way I was going to deliver it with those shafts, I might even take less spin, but I haven't seen that. And a lot of that is also coming up in a future video where I talk about some evolutions in my swing, especially with my attack angle and things like that. I'm delivering the club much better, so my spin is more consistent, my windows are more consistent, contact more consistent, and all of that has allowed me to then, I guess, play this ball, and this has been great. All right, so that is my 2023 what's in the bag. Now, is there anything in here potentially on the chopping block? Yes and no. I would really love to not change this for a very long time. I'm very happy with this. I think this is the first time I've ever been able to swing and not think of gear as a potential hindrance. A lot of times I felt like I was battling the gear. You know, I would always, if any of you guys watch my channel, I would always go back to those Callaway Apex irons of mine because they just worked, and turns out they were quite flat. So I'm trying to emulate some of that with this. I'm really happy with the irons and the wedges and the feel of that. The only thing I could see potentially changing is going to an LA Golf driver shaft. I know they have the G series. They've got some shafts I would like to try. Unfortunately, they're just so expensive. So the Vendis will stay there for now, but with just how good the iron shafts feel, it's got me extremely curious to try the driver shafts. You know, the irons just feel great. They feel so natural to swing, and with Rich's build, it's just perfect. I'd be very curious to see if I could emulate that same feeling with my driver. It's not that my driver doesn't feel good, it's just the build and everything, and the weight of how my irons are built is so good that it's got me curious, you know? And then, you know, I would have loved to potentially put the Callaway Paradigm Triple Diamond into the bag this year, but unfortunately I just can't get that flat enough. So if you guys know of a way to get potentially some of these other OEMs to the same flatness that I can get the Ping, please let me know in the comments, because that's really the only other obstacle of me trying other things. Again, I love my driver. I love everything I have. I'm not looking to actively change, but definitely now I've realized there are some limits to what I can try simply based off of the specs I need. So that's been a very interesting discovery this offseason, and something now I know and can take forward to all future considerations for what's in the bag. So appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.